So this film is about various things, but primarily everyone I think in this room knows that our tiger population is very low today. You can't go anywhere in any city today without seeing this figure of 1411 flash before your eyes. You sit in front of the television, you have Baichung Bhutia and Dhoni telling you about 1411 tigers. What I found was that people are very concerned by and large, but most people feel very helpless and hopeless. And usually this feeling of helplessness and hopelessness comes when we don't know enough about a subject. Just imagine somebody you know, somebody who you love very much, is wasting away from some disease that you don't even know what it is. And you go to doctor after doctor and they can't diagnose what it is. And your anxiety levels just shoot up because you feel you can't deal with it. But the moment there's a diagnosis, even if it's a bad diagnosis, you have a sigh of relief because you think, now I know what the problem is, now I can deal with it. So in a sense, tiger conservation is like that. Most people who live in cities don't really know exactly what the issues are. Why are these tigers disappearing? What can we do about it? So this film is an attempt to answer those questions. And it also talks about the bigger picture of the tiger in the bigger scheme of things. So I don't want to say very much more because the film speaks for itself. And I want to allow more time for questions at the end. So my only request to you is give the film 40 minutes of your undivided attention, because the tiger belongs to all of us. There are two ways we can view this screening. One as a kind of time pass activity. You know, it's always nice to get off away from our computers and do something else. But that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is to look at it and say, well, what can I do about this? Is there anything I can do about this? And if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to take them. So I'm going to request that the film be put on and all the lights be switched off. And I'll be back to answer questions. Thank you. The main thing is, of course, the message of the film, which is very simply that tigers can be saved. What it requires is political will in the states where tigers do exist. But how do we get this political will? This political will only come about if we want the tiger to survive in our forests. I mean, politicians listen to people. If we don't make enough of a noise, the tiger will just quietly slip away, and then there's nobody else to blame. And I'll just come back very quickly and briefly to the point I made earlier, where some people still ask. Like I said, I don't need the tiger to justify its existence. I think it's one of the most marvelous creatures on earth. We are blessed to have it, and all we need to do is protect it and it will take care of itself. So I would just be very happy to have the tiger as it is without having to justify its existence. But if anybody wants to know why, for a practical reason, why do we need to save tigers? There is a very simple connection between the tiger in the forest and the comfort of our lives in these cities. 300 perennial rivers and streams originate in forests that have been protected in the name of the tiger. What more justification does anybody need? You know, when the tiger goes from those forests, there will be no will to protect that forest. Because even today, as tourists, many of you might go to a forest wanting to see tigers. I have actually very often stopped and asked tourists, what did you see today in the forest? And if they haven't seen a tiger, the answer is, I saw nothing. And then you start asking them questions and you find that they've seen virtually every other species in the forest except the tiger, but they feel that they haven't seen anything. You know? So, if the tiger is so important, people are willing to put money behind protecting that area. But if the tiger is gone, that area is considered as useless. Then it's given over for mining and for destruction, and slowly the area just disappears. The forest just disappears. I travel all over this country by road. You know, I go from Chennai to Rajasthan or to Himalayas for my filming, and I find that vast areas of our country have become like a martial landscape. There is nothing there. Where once tigers and other animals roamed, there is nothing, and it will take a lot of effort to bring the forest back. All we have left now is 4 or 5% of India protected as sanctuaries and national parks. If even that 4 or 5% is lost, where will we go? You know?